Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 15 for Adobe Photoshop 2025. In this video, we're going to talk about the File menu inside of the main menu in Photoshop. So let's head over to Photoshop now and take a look at the main menu. So I'm inside of Photoshop here, and if I go up, and I have my taskbar hidden, so that way when I'm working in the application, I just have the screen showing without the menus. So on your version of Photoshop 2025, if you're in Windows, it's going to show file, edit, image, layer, etc. Right here. On Mac, you're going to see Photoshop 2025. It'll show that on Windows as well, but the options will be a little bit different. So what we're looking for is the File menu. And so the File menu is kind of an extension of the home page. Okay. So when we talked about the home features, we talked about this right here, and I'll show you real quick. We went here and we looked at the home button, right? So here, let me go back. And so if we look at the File menu, and I'm just going to kind of talk about each one of these individually, and then as we go through the course and build out projects and do things like that, we're going to come back and do a deeper dive into each one of these. And we'll learn it more on an intimate level of exactly what they're doing. I'm going to give you a overview or a summary of what each one of these sub-menus do, or buttons or actions, whatever you want to call it. So new creates a new file or document. Open will allow you to open a document locally on your computer and also through Creative Cloud. Same with new. You can create a new document that's cloud-based or offline-based, okay, or local. Browse and Bridge. So Bridge is like a offline version of Creative Cloud where you can basically organize your files across all the different applications that are inside of the Creative Cloud library. Open as a smart object. This has to do with importing different objects, and we'll do a deeper dive into that as we build out projects. I can show you a live demo. Instead of just talking about it, I need to show you exactly what I'm talking about with that. Open recent. So these are different files that I've had open, and you can see I can go here and I can clear the recent file list, and then it won't show anything. So you see what happened there. When I did that, it actually deleted that menu. That menu's gone now. And it only shows up when you have projects to show that are recent. Okay. So if I were to add another project or open up another project, then that menu would come back. So close just means it's going to close Untitled 2, which I don't want to do. Close all means that we're going to close all of my projects. And so I have a lot of stuff open in my version of Photoshop. You may not have anything in there, but if you did have projects open, then it would close everything, okay? Close others, it's going to close everything but the Untitled 2. Close and go to Bridge. What that will do is it'll close this document and then take you to Bridge where you can manage your files. Save. So if I save this, and you'll see the little asterisk right here. Okay, that's how you know that the file hasn't been saved. Now this is only for local files. For cloud documents, it's going to auto-save. I think it's every 5 minutes. It depends on the settings that you set, but I believe the default is 5 minutes. It may be a little bit longer, but that's the gist of that. Save as will allow me to save a copy of Untitled 2. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. And then we can also do save a copy. Okay, and what that's going to do is essentially the same thing. Okay, so I can save as, which will allow me to basically change the title of the document to whatever I want it to be, and save a copy deliberately just makes a copy of Untitled 2. Okay, so they essentially do the same thing. Revert is when you do something. So for example, if I go and I do this, okay, and let's save, for example. Okay, hold on, let's see. I haven't actually saved this document. So revert will become available when you do something with the document. Okay. then you can go back to a previous version. Invite to edit. This is a cloud-based feature. So if you want to invite someone to edit this file with you, you can click on invite to edit. And what that's going to do is take you to the option to, well, they're going to show you how to do it. So wait, save to Creative Cloud to share. Okay, so you have to create a cloud-based document, which we talked about in the home features when we created a document. If you remember, when you do like save as, for example, and we go to save to cloud documents, it's going to be a PSD, I think it's cloud, PSDC, I believe it is. And then there'll be a cloud icon. Now we talked about that in the home section, so go check out that video if you need a refresher on that. But that's basically what invite to edit is. You have to have a cloud document. So basically what that is if I wanted to share this document with you as an example, and I wanted you to edit this document, I could do that if it's a cloud document. I can share for review. Again, you got to have a cloud document. It's going to pop up again and say, you need to save this as a cloud document. But then you can review it and then export, which is kind of a weird thing to put with these, but export has nothing to do with these two. Okay, these two are cloud-based document functions. Export allows you to export your PSD as a PNG. You can export as, export preferences, save for web legacy, which when I started using Photoshop 20 years ago, save for web was not legacy. It was just a regular tool. So I've been using that for 20 years and they still have it here, but now it's legacy. But basically what that is when I click on that, it's going to pop open this save for web, okay? And you can pick the different formats you want. You can pick the presets. You can also pick the quality and other things as well, okay? So, and we'll do a deeper dive into this. I'll explain what this is. This is more old school stuff that I learned when I was in school. So I'll talk about this and kind of fill you in on that, but it's not important to what we're talking about right now. But when we do projects, I'll definitely do a deeper dive into that so you get a good understanding of what that is. So that's save for web. Now, export preferences, if I click on this, this was part of the preferences video that we did 2 lessons ago. I believe it was lesson, let's see, what lesson was that? Lesson 13. So go back to lesson 13 if you want to kind of learn more about the preferences for Photoshop. Again, I just did kind of a rough overview of it, but we're going to do a more of a deeper dive, as I talked about in that video as well. We're going to do a deeper dive when we do projects, because that's really when you need to customize the preferences for your projects and that kind of thing. So, so quick export as PNG, quick or export as. This basically gives you the ability to export into different formats. You can have the size here, you can scale, you can put metadata in there and do export there. Now, I've always used the web legacy. That's just kind of the way I've always been with Photoshop, but you can obviously use this. That's fine as well. I mean, they do the same thing, okay? Artboards to files, artboard to PDF, layer comps to files, and layer comps to PDF. Now, I don't have any of those activated. That's why they're not here. But if I were to add an artboard, now I think that will open up some of them. Yeah. Okay, no, it did not open up anything. So again, we'll talk more about that when we do projects. So you have layers to files. So with this, you can do like a prefix and then the file type. So basically you're selecting a layer and then you're going to make that a PSD. Okay. So you can do that for every single layer that you have if you want. Okay. And then these, like I said, we'll talk more about all these when we do projects, but I just want to show you what the options are in here so that when we start doing that, you know exactly where to go. Okay. There's no real confusion. Then we have search Adobe Stock. So Adobe Stock, and I'm not going to go into this beyond just talking about it here. Adobe Stock is a royalty-free library where you can download assets for your projects. So this will allow you to go to the Adobe Stock website and then you can search for stock files, right? Express templates, same thing. It will take you to Creative Cloud and take you to Adobe Express, and then you can grab templates. Place embedded, place linked. Again, we're going to talk about these when we do projects, but basically what that does is you're going to place something on your canvas. You're going to embed it into your project, okay? And then the other one, you have place linked. Same kind of thing. You're going to grab an object and then place it onto your canvas, and then it will be linked that way. Package, that's when you package different things together. An example, when you're packaging something for a project, okay? Automate, scripts, and import, okay? So automate is a very important tool in Photoshop. I've used automate for a lot of different things, and we're not going to do a deep dive into it here because I'll be here for a week. But batch allows you to do a batch automation where you can basically record different actions, and then it basically will memorize what you're doing, and then you click that action and it will repeat it over and over again. An example of that is when I was doing a report for my courses to analyze data. I had 200 courses and I needed to basically get pictures of everything and then bundle it together. And so what I did is I used automation and actions to be able to create a sequence where I could easily screenshot the information I needed, bring it into Photoshop, and then have it automate together, okay? And so we're going to build a project and use all of these tools so that you can really get a good understanding of how all these work, okay? So you have batch, PDF presentation, create a droplet, generate plugins, crop and straighten photos, contact sheet 2, conditional mode change, fit image lens correction, merge the HDR Pro, and photo merge. So all of those will be incorporated with projects that we do in this course later on. It's not going to happen right now, but it's something to look forward to when I start doing projects. We'll do a deeper dive into these and we'll have a good time doing it because the projects are really when you have fun using Photoshop. When we're talking about the interface and the menus and stuff like that, it's just to give you an introduction to the interface. Okay, so script, same thing. You have image processor, delete all empty layers, flatten all layers effects, flatten all masks, script events manager, load files and stack, load multiple DICOM files, and then stats and browse. Import, we can do variable data sets, video frames to layers, images from device, and then notes. Okay, so you have kind of all these different things together that will really make it fun to build projects in Photoshop, because that's really my favorite part about Photoshop is doing projects, not particularly talking about the file menu. But the file menu is important to understand so that you can use the application effectively. Okay, you have to understand the menus. You have to understand where everything is. Think of this as your tool belt. Okay, so every menu, every submenu, file, edit, image, layer, type, select, filter, view, plugins, window, and help, those are all your tools. Okay, the toolbar on the left is a tool. The panels on the right are tools. Everything that you see is a tool. So that's how you got to think about it. Import from iPhone or iPad. I don't have my iPad hooked up, but you can take a photo, scan documents, and add a sketch. File info. This is just going to give you information on the local document. So if I click on this, you'll see the metadata for this document. It's Untitled 2. We can go through and we can add a bunch of metadata to this and put in protections and all sorts of stuff. We will get into this later on as well. Okay. Metadata is mostly used for photos. and big Photoshop documents so that there's some protection in there. Okay. So we'll definitely dive into this. So no worries on that. The last thing we have is version history. So this is for the cloud document. If you have a cloud document, then there'll be a version history, and that will show up here. Now I'm going to click on that. I'll just open a panel. We're not going to see anything because we don't have a cloud document here. This is a local file. So we're going to go back and forth between local documents and cloud documents so you understand how to do both when we start doing projects. Okay. Then we have print and then print one copy. So this is where you can print your document and then print one copy. Okay. So if I do print, this will take me to my printer and it will allow me to do a bunch of different options. And we're not really going to use Photoshop that much for printing. You absolutely can use Photoshop for printing, but I recommend using whatever you want. Okay? So that in a quick nutshell, is the file menu. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for checking out Adobe Photoshop 2025 here on YouTube with Techemy. Be sure to subscribe to the channel here to get the latest and hit the notification bell to get the latest information on Adobe Photoshop 2025. Thanks for watching. Take care.